We'll now move into our first segment of this debate, and this is where I will read a proposition, like a hypothetical bill, to the candidates. I'll read it to you first. We'll give an example. I'll just explain the format, but each candidate will have a chance to begin. I'll first direct it to Mr. Pillie, and I will read to him a proposition that was developed by Mitch Harper, although these are not necessarily a reflection of his views. They encompass a wide variety of his spectrum, right?
There may be one of them that actually states the opposite.
Don't take it as his doctrine, but I will read that, and Mr. Pillie, the first responder, will have 4 minutes to state his position on this. Following him, each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond on their own, after which we'll give it back to Mr. Pillie, the original candidate, for a 1-minute final response. So 4, 3, got that? 4, 3. And we'll do that for each candidate. Each candidate will have a chance to be the primary answer. So we'll begin first with Mr. Pillie. And these are detailed. I mean, legislation gets very detailed. Unfortunately, not all of you have this in front of you, so I'll go slowly. You have it in front of you, I believe, to each question. But let's begin with this first proposition. Resolved that the Indiana legislature should create a redistricting commission in 2011 to draw state legislative boundaries which would follow these 5 guidelines. First, consider no partisan political data. B, 2, keep communities of interest together. 3, create more compact and geographically uniform districts. 4, maintain population balance. And 5, nest 2 state representative districts within a state senate district. Five areas for the redistricting commission.
Generally speaking, the goals of any redistricting commission, I think I would be in favor of. One of the major points that I believe in is that we need to have community-focused government. And if we have legislative districts that do not center around communities, we sell those communities short when we're trying to actually represent them in the legislature. So making sure that our districts reflect our communities is critical. I think I would differ on the scope or the format that they're trying to use to bring about this reform. A lot of times we've seen this particularly at the federal level, but sometimes even at the state level, where we tend to kick a responsibility that is the legislatures to an independent commission council. In a lot of states where we've had these redistricting commissions, Iowa is the first one that jumps to my mind. We've had what I'd call bipartisan commissions rather than nonpartisan commissions. In other words, we get some sort of agreement that's a détente between the 2 political parties, but doesn't hit any of the goals that was originally set out. It's just something that we can get from the legislature. That becomes the goal. I think that we need to take a new direction with this, but we need to take responsibility. That's when we have all these people that are getting active in government now, the last thing we need to be doing is having our legislature abdicating our responsibilities to govern. It's our job to draw a map. Our citizens need to hold us accountable to do a good job. The 5 propositions, the particular propositions, containing no partisan political data. When you draw a line based on a community, partisan data is not important. One of the things I would have loved to see when we were redistricting after the annexation of Fort Wayne would have been to see city council districts that actually reflected the natural lines of our community. We've got rivers. Communities are divided by the rivers within this town. Having a city council district that uses the rivers as a boundary is a very natural, community-oriented feature that we should have adopted. And we have 6 districts we needed to draw, so we could have drawn 5 around and had 1 in the middle. We've had somebody that could be an advocate for downtown. Ultimately, keeping communities of interest together, I think I covered. Creating more compact and geographically uniform districts. I think the 84th district is a model district in that sense. It's probably one of the most compact districts in America. We're lucky in that sense that we have a district that really reflects the community of St. Joe Township and the areas right around it. Maintaining population balance is critical. We do that, whenever you're drawing it, we have the concept that's been enshrined as 1 man, 1 vote. We need to be sure that the nesting 2 state representative districts within a Senate district is a good feature. It's been used in some states like Minnesota. And another way it can help, it saves you actually a lot of work because you can draw 50 districts that represent communities and then just split them in half. There you go. You've got your 100 state representative districts. in the end, the key point in all this is that we shouldn't just kick our responsibilities to the curb. We've seen it with the federal legislature. We've given up the budget-making responsibility to the president, and we get a budget that we never use, we never pass, we never implement. We need to stop having the people's voice being diluted by giving up the responsibilities and focus on being responsible for the things that we've been entrusted to do. Thanks.
Our first 3-minute response will come from Mr. Olinger.
Thank you. A lot of what Derek said, I agree with. There's a couple issues that I think we have to sit and think about. This question, nonpartisan political thing. When people talk about nonpartisanship, generally they mean Republicans, Cage, and Democrats. That worries me every time somebody brings up the word. So when we talk about nonpartisan, if it's nonpartisan in the commission and it goes to the House for vote, districts are redrawn and redrawn, we are going to have a partisan ballot. Some of these issues are law. For instance, maintain population balance. The very nature of redistricting. And this is, again, where my experience comes in. I've redistricted. We've gone through it with the school board. We actually had a commission that I set up. And it came down to essentially getting the right number of voters in the right district at the right time. We were lucky because we weren't, you call school board a non-denominational race, I guess, because there aren't party affiliations. But when it gets down to it, by law, you have to have similar voters in a similar district, precinct by precinct. That being said, it gets the devil's in the details. And when we talk about nesting 2 state representative districts within a district, that's okay. I don't know that it's relevant. The important thing is, from a Republican standpoint, that we don't give the Democrats an upper hand gerrymandering districts. I'm all for drawing them out fairly. I just want to see that pushed through the legislature to the point where it's voted on by the governor, and we have districts that aren't gerrymandered to one party's favor.
Actually, might be wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Olinger.